Kábíyèsí Aláyélúwà Rilwan Akiolu, the first CFR MNI, the President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Alhaji Remi Bello, and as usual he comes complete, not leaving the other half of himself. So we'd also like to welcome Alhaji Nike Bello. And nobody is saying hello to anybody. Those ones that I call, please welcome them with applause. Thank you. I think it was when I came to the Fiara sex I recognized. No, the two Fiara sex representatives. Okay, so we'll start again. So everybody gets warm applause, if you would, please. Okay, so we'll go from the top. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, very ably represented here by the Honorable Commissioner of Commerce and Industry, Lagos State, Mrs. Oworu. And the Royal Father here, the Oba of Lagos, His Royal Majesty Kábíyèsí Aláyélúwà Rilwan Akiolu, the first CFR MNI. And I'd also like to note that we have a strong contingent of White Cap chiefs who are here. I'd like you to please welcome. This is the largest number I've seen in recent years. The President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Alhaji Remi Bello. Because if we don't clap for him, we can say, okay, we are closing this trade fair. We won't even start it. But anyway, he's here and to give him moral support as usual, and he comes with her to all these events. We'd like to welcome Alhaji Nike Bello. The National President of NASIMA is not here, but is here in person of Barrister Mrs. Mary Awotu Yasere. I'd like to introduce to you and welcome the High Commissioner of Pakistan to Nigeria and Ghana, retired Lieutenant General Muhammad Ashraf Salim. And in the past year, since we met at this occasion, I've traveled to Japan, but I'll tell you that later. I'd like also to welcome and introduce the Deputy President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who is looking radiant, having just celebrated a landmark birthday a few days ago. It's my pleasure to welcome the usual delectable Chief Dr. Mrs. Nike Akonde, CON, Deputy President, Lagos Chamber. So as I was saying, within the past year and this time I have been to Japan. You see, this card here is written in Japanese, so I'm going to read Japanese. Please help me welcome Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Japan to Nigeria, Richie Shoji. Now see, I was reading like this. You are reading the Japanese, I'm reading the English. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome all past presidents of the Lagos Chamber. I'd like to welcome the Chairman, Trade Promotion Board, Chief Michael Olawale Cole, CON. I'd like to welcome officers, members of the Lagos Chamber. And then I'd like to welcome representatives of sister chambers here. I'd like to speak, I want to do two words going at the same time. I wanted to especially welcome the one who's helping to keep our country free of drugs and other such things, such unwanted things, unwarranted things, unwholesome things. The Director General of NAFDAC, Dr. Paul Ori. The Vice President, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Reverend I.A. Agoye. He is representing the National President. The Acting Zonal Controller and Coordinator, Women in Export Development Program from Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Evelyn Ifeiwa OPDK. Do forgive me, I didn't put the Mrs. or a doctor or a chief. It's not written here, so I'm not doing it. But welcome. Now, we'll go to the chambers and try to recognize past President Asiwaju S.K. Onofowokan, OON. The immediate past President, Mr. Goody Ibru, OON. Another past President, Otumba Femi Deru. Another past President of this chamber and Nasima, Chief John Odeyemi, MFR. And then we'd like to welcome Mr. Suboma Ajumogobia, Vice President, LCCI. Honorary Life Vice President, Mrs. M.R.A. Adeleke. And I'd also like to welcome another Honorary Life Vice President, Mr. Otumba Adegbeson. Otumba Adegbeson. And Pastor Biodun Tawede. As a matter of fact, I just came back from fasting for the success of this thing. That's why his name is Tawede. And then Otumba Ishola Adebanjo. Not forgetting, of course, Chief Lai Olumekon, MON. I'd like to quickly welcome from the Abuja Chamber of Commerce, First Deputy President, Tony Ejikoye. and the Director General, Joe Idowu Wenegeme, FNIM. And the representative of the governor of Osun, of the state of Osun, of the government of Osun, is my Honorable Commissioner, Commerce, Cooperatives and Empowerment, Ismaila Jayoba Alagbada. We are going to fight you. Say Jayoba Alagbada, you are wearing suit. Your Excellency, Your Royal Highness, Your Royal Majesty, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Now we can start. And the best way to start is with the Nigerian National Anthem. I'd like to introduce the Nigerian Police Band, led by Superintendent ASP Asbachi Emmanuel. They have been training us up to this now. Now there's the National Anthem. And industry, Alhaji Remy Bello, FCA, to formally welcome you all.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Rajipola, SAN, ably represented here by our own Honorable Commissioner for Commerce, who I can say maybe is not a member of the chamber. You are most welcome, Mrs. Owori. Your Royal Highness, members of the Lagos State Executive Council, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the President of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, Alhaji Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, MON, MNI, who is being represented here today by Barrister Mary Yasere. The Honorable Commissioner of Commerce from State of Osun, Alhaji Ismaila Jayoba Alagbada, Captains of Industry and Commerce here present, the Deputy President of the SCCI, my auntie, Chief Dr. Mrs. Nike Akonde, Bonikepo Akonde, preferably, CON, past presidents here, from Chief John Odeyemi, NFR, Asiwaju SA Onafowokan, OON, Otumba Esoderu, OON. I'm giving you. FCA. Mr. Gudi M. Ibu, OON. Vice President and Chairman, Trade Promotion Board of SCCI, our Dr. Michael Olawale Court, CON. Thank you for the good work. Vice President, SCCI, Mr. Subuma Ajumagobia. Honorary Live Vice President, they are present. I'm afraid if I will be able to name all of you, probably I can try. From Otumba Layo Lubekun, Adepeson, Barrister. Let me leave it, please. They are here to support us, and they are very large in number. We appreciate you. You are recognized. Fellow officers, council members, the SCCI, DG NAFDAC, Dr. Paul, representative of the President of MAN, officers and members of the sister chambers here today, valued exhibitors, distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the 2014 Lagos International Trade Fair, the 28th in succession to be organized by the SCCI. On behalf of the Council and the entire members of the SCCI, I would like to express our sincere thanks for your presence here this morning, as well as your regular interest and support for the Lagos International Trade Fair. In particular, we feel honored to play host to the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, like you are aware. He thought he will be here this morning, but unfortunately for the issue of voters, permanent voters card that he has to monitor in the state, he's not able to make it, but we have a good representation here. On behalf of the Council and members of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I welcome you most warmly to this occasion. In the same way, I'm gratified by the presence here today for a very long time. Lost in Kabiyesi in our midst. Kabiyesi is here today in person, live. Kabiyesi. I wish to thank Kabiyesi Leslie for honoring us with his presence this morning. We are also very delighted by the presence here this morning of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Unfortunately, it's not here either. May I also welcome public and private sector dignitaries, each of whom deserves special recognition. Top government functionaries, leaders of the organized private sector, chief executives of corporate bodies and public institutions, TBS, management, and other eminent guests. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you warmly to this opening ceremony and thank you most sincerely for honoring our invitation. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the 2014 Lagos International Trade Fair is, I quote, promoting the Nigerian economy as a preferred investment destination. This theme was chosen to underscore the critical importance of creating an enabling environment to attract new investments, both domestic and foreign, and grow existing ones. In is also to underline the imperative of building an economy that is diversified and sustainable. There is perhaps no better time to do this than now. Oil price is currently at a 4-year low of $83 per barrel, and this will call for major adjustments in both public and private sectors of the economy. It is gratifying to note that the new status of Nigeria as the largest economy in Africa and the 26th in the world has generated tremendous interest among investors globally. We should leverage these favorable sentiments to attract more investment, diversify our economy, and make it more sustainable. The platform of Lagos International Trade Fair serves to promote the realization of this objective. The non-oil economy is generally more inclusive and integrated. It is also more growth-oriented and characterized by high economic linkages, more stable and above all, more sustainable. It is important for us to appreciate these fundamental dynamics of the Nigerian economy in order to be able to construct policies that will ensure sustainable economic development. The pressing and overriding contemporary challenge in our quest for economic diversification and transformation is to fix the impediment to productivity and competitiveness in the economy. These include the state of infrastructures, especially public power supply, the challenge of substandard and fake products in the country, which are done and still doing serious harm to manufacturers, poor state of our roads, the high cost of and limited access to funds, inconsistency of policies, and of course, the growing insecurity, to mention a few of the inhibiting factors. If we tackle these constraints, we will encourage domestic investment, attract foreign capital, and facilitate the realization of the enormous potentials in the Nigerian economy. These potentials abound in the agricultural, industrial, gas-based industries, services, solid minerals, tourism, and distributive trade sectors. Recent developments in the global economy have further underlined the imperative of economic diversification. It is gratifying to know that evidence of innovation, ingenuity, and doggedness of Nigerian entrepreneurs abound at this trade fair. As a policy advocacy group,
trade fair, to my mind, is taking off very nicely, because the venue we're in now, I think this is the best it's been in years. And we're getting quite some cooling effect as well. And well, naturally this being the 20th in the series, and this being the first, the biggest and the best trade fair organized in Nigeria, we would expect that to go from strength to strength to strength. I'd like to warmly congratulate Lagos Chamber. I see that people are in two minds. Should we congratulate them or not? Should we clap for them or not? Thank you very much. The whole world now recognizes you and says, well done. I'd like to welcome Vice President, Lagos Chamber, Mr. Babatunde Ruwashe, FCA. I think it's arrived. Also welcome the DG National Identity, Barrister Chris Onyemenam, who is represented here by Mrs. Titiola Ejiofor, the State Coordinator of the National Identity Management Commission. So now that they're telling us to get permanent voters cards, when are we going to get permanent national identity cards? So madam, please welcome that. And now to quickly call on the national president of NASIMA, Alhaji Mohammed B. Abubakar, MON, for his own address. He's represented, of course, here by...
Oh, you've been here. You've been recognized.
Mrs. Mary.
But I can have it for future.
Barrister Mrs. Mary Iyase.
I'm here to deliver the president of NASIMA's speech. But before I go into that, I want to recognize and greet all my guests that are here. Our former president, I'm looking at you there, and all the other guys. My auntie, I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy to be here with everybody. I'm tempted to go into saying that I want to observe protocol because of what the protocol here is the same as the President of Lagos Chamber has given, but I will not do that now. Maybe I will leave it for the next speaker to say going to observe all of that protocol. I will repeat the protocol as it is here given to me by the President. Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, even if he's not here, we are all representing him. Your Excellency, Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Raji Fashola, represented by the beautiful Commissioner for Commerce. Your Excellencies, other governors who are represented here, Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Lushola O. Aganga, if he's not here, we are also representing him. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, if he's not here, we are representing him. Honorable Minister of Mines and Steel, we are representing him too. Other honorable ministers that are represented here, members of the Federal State Executive Council, members of the Federal State Houses of Assembly, national officers of NASIMA, members of the Diplomatic Corps, President Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Alhaji Remi Bello, he is right here. President of other Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, Agriculture who are present here. Chieftain of Commerce and Industry, Your Royal Majesty, the Oba of Lagos, Daddy, I greet you, sir. You, gentlemen of the press, distinguished exhibitors and visitors, ladies and gentlemen. We delight and appreciate the goodness of Almighty God that has made it possible for us to gather here once again to witness the opening ceremony of the 2014 edition of the Lagos International Trade Fair organized by Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. On behalf of Council and the entire members of the Nigeria Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, I congratulate the President, Alhaji Remi Bello, and the entire members of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the successful packaging of this annual trade promotion. Permit me to commend the relentless effort and sacrifice made by the members of the organizing committee to ensure that the event takes place annually in spite of numerous constraints. I'm proud of the success that is usually recorded and the visible improvement in the delivery with each edition of the fair, which confirms the premiership of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce in the chamber movement. Before I proceed any further, I want to specially recognize the presence of the president who is represented by all of us here. And I want to praise the president through the presence of the president today, which is represented by all of us, is the testimony of his administration's continuous strong desire and commitment towards sustainable transformation of the economy through active collaboration with the private sector. Your administration, Mr. President, through the transformation agenda, surely places the private sector at the driver's seat of the economy. Your Excellencies, as you declare open the 2014 edition of this fair, our sincere prayer remains that this edition of the fair provide not only the more desired platform to showcase the abundant human and natural resources of our great nation, but also further enhance the visibility of the huge economic potential of Nigeria awaiting to be harnessed. Let me equally recognize in our midst, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, in whose domain this fair is taking place, and to express our sincere appreciation for ensuring a conducive environment for this event. Your presence here today is an indication of the importance of the Lagos International Trade Fair to the Nigerian economy. The theme of this year's fair, promoting the Nigerian economy as a preferred investment destination, is very timely and appropriate at this time that the federal government has put various measures in place through its transformation agenda to ensure that Nigeria remains the most preferred investment destination in Africa. The recent rebasing of the gross domestic product has no doubt made Nigeria the largest in Africa and the 26th in the world. It is more important now when the value of indigenous and sectoral linkages through which the benefit of incentive growth could be transmitted are being fast-tracked to ensure adequate provision of the enabling environment, including infrastructures and incentives to support increased economic activities and policy stability for business to flourish. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will also agree with me that trade fairs, exhibitions like this have continued to remain the only recognized and widely acceptable medium through which manufacturers, business operators, corporate organizations, and individuals come together to showcase their products and services, thereby serving as a catalyst to rapid economic development of the economy. In my earlier goodwill message to this fair, I did mention that the quality of infrastructure, education, effectiveness of technological development, and the quality of institutional framework are critical to attracting direct foreign investment in all sectors in a manner that will enable successful growth of an inclusive government. Moreover, while the public sector performs its policy regulatory role in the pursuit of an inclusive economic growth, the private sector should be fully supported to harness trade potentials in order to effectively drive and make real the desired economic growth through investment, employment, business creativity, innovation, knowledge transfer, and other multiplier effects from their operations and activities. Recent development around the globe have also pointed out clearly that no economy can experience a sustainable level of free growth and national development without harnessing its trade potential for successful transformation of the real sector. If the necessary economic reforms and incentives that would spur and position the economy in better state to attract and encourage both local and foreign investors in the country are not put in place. It has therefore become necessary for our government at all levels to ensure the enhancement of the private sector with appropriate and effective enabling policy measures and programs that will support the development of an integrated industrial transformation and competitiveness for small and medium-scale enterprise. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is gratifying to know that the federal government is already doing something meaningful in its ongoing economic reform that have helped to strategically place the country as a major investment destination for both local and foreign investors, without government providing the necessary infrastructure and putting in place appropriate policy measures that will attract investors to contribute their quotas to harnessing potential trade for all-inclusive growth and development of the economy. The country's vision of boosting foreign direct investment using the trade exhibition of this nation as a catalyst will not be realized, while its quest at becoming one of the top 20 most industrialized nations in the world by the year 2020 will continue to be a mirage. Let me stress here that we at NASTIMA applaud the federal government for demonstrating high sense of forward planning in interest of our national economy to bring about all-inclusive growth by producing the proposed 2014 to 2016 medium-term expenditure framework, which is before the National Assembly for passing. We wish to counsel at the National Assembly should without delay fast-track the consideration of NTEF and give its approval. In addition, we wish to plead with the federal government to hasten the process of revisiting the concession of the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex and hand it over to the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for proper management of trade promotion activities, as was done for Kaduna International Trade Fair Complex, which is in tandem with global practice. Government support in this regard will no doubt signify its commitment to the development of the economy. Once again, on behalf of Council and entire members of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, I welcome all distinguished exhibitors, visitors, invited guests, chieftains of industry to this edition of the fair. As usual, I urge participants to take full advantage of the opportunities offered by the fair and create awareness for their products and services, as well as try concrete business deals with that will transform their business. On behalf of the President and myself, I want to welcome all of you and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with this distinguished audience. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, President. I'd like to also, I'd like to recognize those who have come in since we started, or well, maybe not. Let me not get myself into trouble. I'd like to recognize and welcome the following. Representing the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Deputy Director, Trade Development, Mrs. Oluremi Ayeni, MNSC, MNSCHE. The Deputy Head of Delegation of the European Union to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mr. Richard Young. His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Federal of FDR Ethiopia, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to Nigeria, Ambassador Ali Abdo. Also, the Third Secretary, the Embassy of the Social Republic of Vietnam, Tran Trong Kim. The surname is the same. The first name has changed, meaning that the young have come into their own. The Managing Director of Toyota Nigeria Limited, Mr. Kunle Adeojo. Now to carry on with the goodwill messages, I have one here. We have one here from MAN, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and the Vice President, Lagos Zone, Reverend I.A. Agoye, brings greetings from MAN.
Governor of Lagos State, ably represented by the Honorary Commissioner for Commerce and Industry. Please don't forget to include that industry there, because they are saying commerce and industry. She's our commissioner, and we're happy to be here. Please permit me to stand on existing protocols, because just a brief goodwill message from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. We are felicitating with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry on this very important occasion today. And we congratulate you, my dear brother, for the sustenance of the annual events. And we know that the fear being an awareness creation on locally produced goods in particular is very highly commendable. And the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria will partner together with you and NASIMA to make sure that we do the very best in the area of the locally made products. Nigeria is a country with great potential, including manufacturing. The Nigerian economy has sustained a remarkable growth path over the decades, which has placed it to assume the enviable heights of a fast-moving economy. Just as my predecessor who spoke here also said, it's the largest economy in sub-Sahara, beating South Africa to the second place, and now ranks 26th in the world in terms of gross domestic product, up from the 30th position in 2013 before the debate. The economy is also on track to becoming one of the 20 largest economies in the world by 2020. If all of us cooperate and work together with the government, I believe that it is achievable. However, the economy still depends heavily on the oil and gas sector, which contributes 82.9% of export revenues, 70% of government revenues, and 11.2% of the gross domestic product in 2013, as given by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Despite the country's oil wealth and the relative improvement in the GDP growth, the UN Human Development Index reveals that poverty is widespread, with over 67.9% of the population living on less than $2 a day, and that's what is given in 2013. One of the major reasons for this is the non-inclusive growth experienced by the economy over the decade as a result of the gross underperformance of the real sector, particularly manufacturing. By virtue of Nigeria's population and natural endowments, the country stands to generate social and economic gains that could make her self-sufficient and a major exporter to the whole of Africa and beyond. The country has the potential to build a prosperous economy, create employment for the teeming unemployed, particularly the youth, reduce poverty significantly, and provide the health, education, and infrastructural needs for a steaming population. The Nigerian workforce grows by approximately 2 million people each year, out of which almost 1 million people graduate from the various universities, colleges of education, polytechnics, and other tertiary institutions. The way out of this ugly situation is for all hands to be on deck to make growth rate of the economy an inclusive growth. That is, jobs must be created for our youth by focusing more attention on patronage of made in Nigeria goods by the public sector, private sector, and individual households. I'd like to comment, yesterday, I was at the annual general meeting of the Manufacturing Association of Ogun State, and the commissioner who stood in for the governor made it clearly that in Ogun State, at least in the Ogun State government, that they only patronize made in Nigerian products. And I want to suggest also that many other state governments, if they would do that, at least we will be able to have ways of selling our products and be able to produce more and also be able to create more jobs. Patronizing foreign products at the detriment of the local ones implies exportation of jobs to the countries of our trading partners and importation of unemployment, poverty, and insecurity into the country. The 2014 Lagos International Trade Fair provides us the ample opportunity to meditate and rediscover ourselves as a nation and as individuals in halting the unpalatable trend of unbridled taste for foreign goods. Let us make our economy work for us and the coming generations. Once again, I congratulate NCCI for the great work they are doing and wish them a successful fair. Thank you.